You brought up the fact that the service is completely legal, and I'm kind of interested to know, was there any point in discussion where you thought that you might face legal action from some of the labels or some of the artists? Do you fear that that may still happen? And I was wondering if what was it that was untenable that these labels that you haven't done deals with that made you go this route and not another route? What was it that they were asking for from you that you thought this is a bridge too far?
So you're asking me to speculate on legal matters and comment on negotiation. Yes, and what I will say is that we very much respect copyright and rights holders and the efforts that they've put into creating their content. And we have designed the service to really facilitate use of a user's own music collection by that user. It is a personal music cloud service, and that is our focus. And it is out of respect for copyright and for the owners of music. As for the discussions, the business discussions, I can't get into too much detail there. What I will say is that we felt that both from a product standpoint and a business standpoint, with the particular partners with whom we were not aligned, we were not on the path to launch something that we would be excited to bring to end users with a compelling offer. No, I won't name them.
Hi, Jason Cave from TypePunch. So Android has faced an issue with phones not getting updated for extended periods of time, and that hasn't really hampered its growth. And I'm wondering, what changed so that these carriers and hardware manufacturers are falling in line, are agreeing to start updating these devices? Because I'm not really sure what incentive they have to change what they've been doing, or what kind of carrot you guys have been dangling in front of them that would incentivize them to do that.
Yeah, I think what was announced today is a reflection of just everyone valuing the ecosystem. Everyone understands, and there's been a lot of articles written by you guys and a lot of, user comments and forums, for instance, mentioning, I want my upgrade, when do I get my upgrade? And what we realized was there was no common expectation set as to how this would work. So what we wanted to do was at least establish some form of expectation for the whole community, users as well as developers. And this impacts developers as well, by the way, right? Where if there's many versions of Android running, developers have to decide what version they want to target. So it's in everyone's best interest, and I think the partners that announced with us today understand that. But it's a whole end-to-end ecosystem, and the health of the ecosystem is what makes everyone successful.
So we think of ourselves as just the coordinators of all this to make sure that everybody's in lockstep in the way they think about this kind of stuff. And I think the incentive for the OEMs and both the carriers, consumers want it, right? So it's really servicing the customer.
Hey, Andy, Ina Fried with All Things Digital. I'm curious in terms of, you guys talked about Ice Cream Sandwich being what unifies what we've seen on the tablet side in Honeycomb and what's on the phone side in Gingerbread. I wasn't exactly clear though how much you guys talked about. Is it just unifying it? Are there new features? What does Ice Cream Sandwich in your mind deliver besides unification?
We talked about it a little bit in the keynote. We're going to have some breakout sessions. Mike, why don't you come on up and give a little more detail.
Yeah, so as I said in the keynote, our primary job is to try to make the Android experience run on all devices. So when we look at our feature prioritization, that's number one. But there's a lot of new features that we're adding as well, and those will become available on devices. Now, unfortunately, I can't pre-announce them, but you saw a hint of some of the technology in the keynote. There's a lot of other stuff that we're working on, but we'll be rolling that out when it's a little more mature.
So Josh Topolsky from thisismynext.com. So not to harp on this this new alliance you guys have with getting stuff updated on a more reliable schedule, but can you give us an idea, like walk me through, you do something like the Nexus S, right? This is kind of a new flagship, you want to show off the next version, right? This is the cutting edge. What happens differently after that where I'm a consumer who bought, I've got Atrix or whatever my phone is now, I can expect to, because you've got Moto Blur and you've got Samsung has their thing. So how is it different now that everybody's going to be more in line? I mean, will everybody be more in line? Is there going to be a date when you say 3 months from the launch of our flagship, everybody who is making a device that is in this alliance that has this spec will get that update at the same time? I mean, can you just tell me what that experience will be like for a consumer and for the companies that you work with?
It's a really good question, and unfortunately we don't have the answers yet. What we announced today is basically the people at the table actually actively figuring it out right now. So the names and logos that you saw on the screen are the people that are tasked with the job of figuring out exactly how it's going to work. Before we could get everybody at the table, it was impossible to actually achieve anything, right? So I think this is a really, really good first step, and you'll hear over the next couple of weeks exactly how it's going to work in practice, but we're not quite there yet, so we don't really have anything to talk about.
One more quick question on that is it easy for people to become part of that group? Or, I mean, how do you get more people in that circle? Because you don't have every company you work with, not every carrier. So is that something you're going to be actively working on, getting more people in the inner circle, or do you just want to start with that core group and you'll see how it goes?
Obviously, it's more manageable to start small and then get bigger, and it's an open invitation. We talked about it on stage. There's no reason not to have everybody in it, but again, I want to kind of hit the ground running. I don't want to take a lot of time building like a big list of names. I actually want to get to the meat of the details and get some of your first answers before we actually make it forward quickly. So that list is pretty much the founding parties, just like the OHA. We had a handful of founding parties, and now it's like over 100 people. We'll take this in the push.
Hello, this is Taylor Woodley with NetShelter. I have 2 questions about ice cream. Can you tell me, do you anticipate there being any new hardware requirements for ice cream that would prevent the current generation of smartphones from being able to run that update? And the second question is, can you tell us, is Google planning another pure Google experience device, to coincide with the release of Ice Cream Sandwich?
So in terms of the hardware support, current generation of hardware we suspect will run on ice cream. I mean, that's certainly the goal. There was a question earlier, is Gingerbread the end of phone? The answer was, well, no, ice cream is the next generation for phones. So certainly we want phones to run on ice cream as well, and not just new phones. And in terms of next gen Google Experience device, I'll let Andy come that one.
I mean, I think the Nexus has been the kind of the thing that we use to set the bar, and there's always going to be new ones coming out in the market. As you know, the market works in cycles. The cycles are usually holidays and summertime. So we'll make an announcement at some point in the future.
Andrew Kabika with Enjoyment.com. You mentioned that the Google Music is a completely legal service, and speculation was that it was launching in the U.S. only because of licensing deals. So if licensing deals isn't a problem at the moment, why is it only launching in the U.S.?
It's really, really hard to do global launches. Like when we launched the G1, we picked a carrier, a hardware manufacturer, a semiconductor company, and we all partnered together to get it done. I think it's unrealistic to, sit in a vacuum in our engineering offices and design a product with the expectation that it's going to meet the world's needs. So we'd like to roll it out. It's being rolled out as a invite-only basis. We're going to learn from it, as we usually do. We're going to analyze that data. We're going to evolve the product to make it a lot better. Obviously, the goal is to make it as widely adopted as possible. So we're just going to do that as at the pace that it allows.
Okay, and secondly, you mentioned that there's going to be a Google TV update coming this summer. Is there any update on availability outside of the United States?
So there's no way for the Google TV team here. The short answer is nothing announced just yet. Certainly in the roadmap.
Matt Riley with VentureBeat. So 2 questions regarding Google Music. One's with respect to the quality of the streaming music. Is it going to be better than Pandora? Are we talking like 192 kilobits per second, something better than that? And second, you said you can upload music and stream it to your phone, but is it possible to you're able to download specific playlists, but can you basically say, I want that song that's in my music folder, I want that on my phone, I want to be able to access it whenever and wherever, and not have cached, have it permanently on there?
So to answer your first question, we stream at up to 320 kilobits per second, and that's based on the quality of the file that you upload. So essentially, we we stream back to you the highest possible bit rate based on what you've uploaded. We do adjust that depending on your network connections to make sure we deliver you the most seamless experience possible while you're listening. The second question is, I think something about putting a song permanently on your phone as opposed to caching. What I would say on that is the experience of the end user is no different, but this current solution is focused on streaming and caching only and not re-downloading out of the cloud.
You can force the phone to cache a specific set of songs, but that's you directing the cache. You directing the songs available to that phone. It's not a re-download experience.
There's another subtle point here, which is that you can also, of course, sideload music to your device as well, and the music player that you saw in the keynote seamlessly works with that combined library from your sideloaded music as well as the music from the cloud service.
Rick, Search Engine Land. I wanted to talk for a moment